Sounds good.
Okay, guys. Well, thanks for coming. I don't think everybody will be able to come today, so I'm just going ahead and starting us off. Um, Thanks for making time tonight. I know it's not conventional to have it on a Thursday. I'm actually hoping to keep it really short. Just so long as everybody's read my post I made yesterday on Slack, I think it'll go really quickly. But if there's any questions, I mean, we can take all the time you need. So let me go ahead and say a prayer, and then we can get started. I'll actually go and shut my door first. All right, here goes. Our Heavenly Father, we're grateful for the opportunity to be able to meet together as a team. We ask thou to please give us insights into how we can increase the quality of this document and add value to it that'll contribute to a good grade. And we're grateful for the opportunities to work in teams and to learn how to do that. And we say this in the name of thy Son, even Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Well, it looks like, Michael, it looks like your other account
Just left.
prayer, yeah.
Cool. I guess he doesn't like prayer.
Yeah. How does that happen?
I don't know. I didn't. I've exited out of it, but I did that before too. So, Yay!
Nice work.
Well, I'm going to share my screen and we'll kind of launch into it. I hope that if anybody has any questions, they'll feel free to ask. So,
meeting yesterday was good too.
Yeah. So I know that Mike and Fernando, they're both going to have to watch this later because they're both working right now. But as far as the way I've split the assignments this week, I really wanted to finish the things we started last week. That's like really kind of like everything that's going to be our prerogative to complete. And so basically to sum all that up, like we need to finish the mock-ups that we've been working on for a couple weeks now. Really good work has been done on those. I really like the way they've turned out. And I should say, least of all my own are horrible. They're like, I'm just drawing rectangles and triangles compared to Mike and Fernando's. But and then for everybody else, we're gonna finish up the pseudocode as well, just like we did last week, essentially.
Yeah.
So I thought that this was pretty much straightforward enough that we could get started before having the meeting. And yesterday, I do apologize for moving the meeting. Yesterday was just such a bad day. I could not have done it yesterday. But I knew that today was going to be inconvenient for a lot of people. So I hope that the video is helpful enough. And anybody who's watching the video who has a question, feel free and reach out as well. So you'll notice that in the pseudocode assignment for Jason, Marcus, Jonah, and Michael, I mentioned that it says you can see my screen, right? Okay, cool. So it says to please follow the HTML format for building the pseudocode pages in the doc. So I'm just gonna open up my Visual Studio Code to show you what it is I'm talking about. Because after we all wrote pseudocode last week, this is what I did with it. I went and I put it into the document here in Visual Studio Code. That's totally optional. You can use whatever text that you like, of course. So here in 4.2.1, I've sort of made this our UI class file, and I've been lumping them all just into one file, just because that's the way Landon's team was doing it. So I just sort of followed their lead. But you see here, I've got. Let me show you the first one. So at the top of the document, there's UML class descriptions. These are all the view classes. So like we were saying, there's like the calendar view, the to-do list view, the settings view, all those views, right? So here's the to-do list view, and you'll note that I've put this here, like class name to-do list view. This class represents the to-do list view of the app. Like it's a little hard to read in this format, but I'll show you one thing that actually I've found really helpful, and I'll show you how it looks in the document as well. So first things, I found this thing called Stack Editor. No, Stack Edit. That's what it's called. So this is like a in-browser Markdown editor. And one thing that I do find frustrating about it is that the scrolling is really bad, but it helps me to be able to read it. So I've been really liking this. It'll just take just a second, I think. It's just like a nice editor that kind of renders the Markdown side by side with the HTML. Okay. So you can see how this document that we've been doing. Oh, scroll, please. So, like for example, here's the to-do list view over here on the right. Let me shrink this. And so you see that that over here on the right, it shows, just like I said, like it had this, the class name to-do list view. This class represents the to-do list view of the app. And then we go into attributes. These are just like, you know, member variables of that class. And then, of course, down here we've got all the methods. So these are pseudocode that members of the team did last week. They look a little funny because the formatting. Actually, I need to look at that again. But this is where I've been putting the pseudocode. So for you 4 guys that that I've asked to finish up the pseudocode, if you could just really, like, I only show this just sort of as a suggestion and kind of as a way of just showing you what it looks like when it's finished. But if you could follow this form, this HTML document here, to expand it to the rest of the methods. And of course, you'll have to add the classes too. So you'll have to be conscious of the fact that, like, this is one view class, and then this is another down here. And if your view class doesn't exist yet for the method that you're working on, you'll have to create it. But if it does, then just please go ahead and add it to the one that already exists. So that's sort of the brief overview of that. Was that clear enough? I think when you can see it like that, it's pretty helpful.
Yeah, I'd agree. I just probably need to find the notifications. I was looking at it. I was having a hard time actually finding them in the SDD.
Oh, in the SDD?
Yeah.
Okay. I can look for those in a minute and help you find them.
Yeah.
Oh shoot, I forgot to. Yeah, Landon wants to join. Let me tell Landon that's cool.
Hey, it's Landon. I have him. Wow, we've got so much stuff in our SDD now.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
going through it, but
Yeah, it's tremendous.
it feels really good.
Yeah, what we need to do is make sure that everything's consistent. So that's another thing that I can't make a direct assignment of, but when you are looking through the document, just read it in a way that that kind of like read it for the broad picture and try and make sure that the pictures match up to what's mentioned in the methods and what's mentioned in like different places. Because if it doesn't match up, that kind of thing is more evident to like the fresh eye than the person that's like worked on it this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to take a conscious effort on our part to find the mistakes like that where things are inconsistent. But for Brother Forky to find it, it'll probably take all of like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So that's just
Okay.
kind of the nature of things. I wish it were different. But we just need to read it like with a conscious effort to make sure that things are consistent anywhere we look through the document.
Okay.
Sounds good. And is there a link to it? This is all on the website, right? Like
This is, so I've put basically everything I've explained, I've put on the Slack for our team. So
I just was trying to find a link. Oh yeah, no, I already got that. I was talking about the code side by side with the.
Oh, you want a link for that? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that'd be good. I think that'll be useful for everyone.
Yeah.
So everybody can I'll just click on this just to show it just for purpose of illustration. If everybody just goes to the Slack channel and finds this assignment sheet, you'll see that assignments have been made based on like who can do which pseudocodes. And of course, like, so Michael, you have 4 of them.
Yeah,
but
they're all easy ones. Like
they're all easy.
you've got a set. You've got a set function there. I understand.
Yeah, they're a snap. So, and then some of these, as I was describing them, I realized I was almost writing the pseudocode. So yeah, they're a piece of cake. So please, with your spare time, I don't mean to say like you have spare time, but if you find any, read through a little bit of the document, polish it up wherever you can, because we are at the end now. The document's really long, but we got to make sure that it's consistent with itself. Otherwise, all that length is really just working against us.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, that's what I sort of worry about. Can you guys think of any questions, if not just for your own sakes, but maybe that someone else might have, something I might not have explained completely that someone else might need to know, or that you want to know?
No, I think at the moment it's pretty straightforward. I mean, maybe once I get into it, I'll be able to come up with a few, but basically we're just writing the pseudocode, and if the class doesn't exist, we're creating the class.
Yeah, absolutely. And the only ones that should exist will probably be this main calendar page view. I think that's the only one that exists currently. The rest of these came from classes we haven't written yet.
Follow that template that's already in the...
Yeah. Oh, but I wanted to point out this folder in Google Drive. Did Landon ever join?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Oh, hey, Landon.
Hey, how's it going?
Landon, I can just share this Drive folder like this, right? And just put it in the Slack?
Are these the links to the actual diagrams?
Oh, yeah, you're right. I shouldn't do that, huh?
Yeah. Just go to the GitHub.
Okay, yeah.
And under the resources folder, there's the UML communication diagram folder. So there you guys could check out all the JPEGs.
Yeah.
It's under the resources folder at the top. And then the UML, yep, right there.
Cool.
So that's the link for all the JPEGs.
Okay. So Landon, I've pretty much gone through my material. Is there anything you'd like to say to the team?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, there is. I just want to hop on here real quick. I appreciate you letting me join you guys real quick.
Yeah, we're glad to have you.
I've been talking with Brother Forky and with Michael like last couple of days, and one of the big things that we've noticed is that each of our classes need to have pretty descriptive rationale of why we decided to create those classes, and this includes our Vue classes as well, right? And so one of the things, can I share my screen real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool. Okay, so let me come here to the GitHub. Okay, so right here in the table, so we have the name of the class, the to-do list view, right? That's the name of the class. And again, that's reiterated here. And then here under this cell, we should have a description. And one of the things we really wanted to emphasize is that each of our classes should have a pretty lengthy description of why we felt it was necessary to put this in a separate class. What design concerns this class is fulfilling. For example, this would be like the to-do list view. Its purpose is to perform all the functions related to the to-do list assignments feature, right? So anyway, it's just important that we have the rationale here that Brother Forky can see. Okay, this is why this class exists as a separate entity. And the other thing is we also need to explain which other classes that these are interfacing with and how that relates to each other, which kind of makes this is easier for you guys because all the view classes, they interface with the UI controller class, right? So if we look at the architecture diagram, which I'll pull up here. So we have the diagram here for how all these classes are related to each other. So it's important that in our description for each of these classes that we specifically state like, okay, this interfaces with the UI controller class for the purpose of, like the example here, logging in view. It interfaces with the UI controller for the purpose of sending usernames and passwords so that we can verify the login, right? Any detail that you can add to provide the rationale for why these views, these classes exist is what really Brother Forky is looking for. And more importantly, it's what matches the IEEE document. Because every class should have a name, a type, and a purpose. That's directly out of the IEEE doc. So, and you know, obviously the classes already have a name, so we're taking care of that. So really we just need to, and the type is, obviously it's a class entity, right? Because we're showing that it's an individual class of the UML diagram. So really the important thing is that we're laying out the rationale for these classes so that Brother Forky could be like, okay, I see the purpose of that. That conforms to the IEEE document. And that goes obviously for the methods as well. We need to explain why this method is necessary. And if it's a simpler method, then it doesn't have to, it could be 1 or 2 sentences. But that's really what's going to play a huge factor in our grade. So I kind of just wanted to show that to you guys. Hopefully that helps a little bit, kind of with what Brother Forky is going to be looking for, just to help us visualize. But yeah. So do you have any questions or comments on that?
No, looks good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
Awesome.
So if anybody is looking for an opportunity to contribute in an extra capacity, go through and flesh out those descriptions and those purpose statements and all, and make sure that they really, you know, kind of demonstrate what Elena was talking about. That'd be great.
Yep, and then always let Daniel know so he can give credit where credit's due. So yeah, I think that's a great way that we'll probably improve the factor of our grade. So just something we want to watch for.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it for me. So.
All right.
Thanks, Landon. Thanks, guys, for reading over the assignment before the video. I really feel like it helped us have a focused meeting, and I think I was able to respect y'all's time. So I appreciate that, and I'm just glad to be working with you guys. Like, just take every opportunity to add value to the document wherever you can. Take an extra hour and just read through a section and really just polish it up. And, you know, wherever you can, if you think it's something that Brother Forky is going to land on, that's, you know, that's our grade on the line. Because really, like, in all actuality, he's not going to read the entire thing. He's just going to read through parts of it, and he's going to be looking for, you know, like, he's going to be looking for format, and he's going to be looking for it to be complete and consistent, and he's going to be looking for, of course, like, the material counts as well. One way you can really, like, punch up the power of the material is just to make it agree with itself, if that makes sense. Like, if it says one thing in one place and one, like, a different thing in a different place, then it's almost worse than if it didn't say anything. So just, you know, take time to read through the doc and just make sure it's a really, like, a final product, because we are really, you know, it's almost Christmas. So
Yeah.
which I'd like to be able to celebrate Christmas without any regrets about a project like this. So thanks for your time, guys. I think we'll end here unless there's any more questions. those present. If anybody else who's watching this video afterwards has a question, please reach out to me or to Landon. If you want a more informative answer, like you'll probably reach directly to Landon. Heck, like Landon, thanks for being on this call. Like you add substance to the project. So, any
Thank
questions,
you,
guys?
Nope. I think up in the actual task. I'll let you
Cool.
know.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you. I'm gonna end it here, but y'all have a great night, and we'll see you at the end of this.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Daniel.
Yeah, no problem.
Talk to you guys later.
Bye.